Alrighty, all. Welcome to another IWrocker Clips compilation. We're taking a look at some classics in this one with maybe a new episode or two mixed in. It's going to be looking at photos and different posts that you wouldn't believe from different countries around the world. It's going to be a good one. These are some of my favorite episodes I've ever filmed, and they're all actually from quite long ago. I can't believe that I haven't done these more often, so perhaps on the main channel we'll have to do some new ones. Regardless, this should be pretty interesting, I imagine, so please sit back and enjoy. This will be a good one. A German circus is using holograms instead of live animals for a cruelty-free magical experience. Holy smokes. Dude, is that what it looks like? That's actually pretty wild. Coming out strong immediately, first one, and I'm blown away. I've never even seen anything like that. I guess I'm not familiar with like how realistic hologram technology is. You know, when I think of holograms, all I think of is like maybe seeing it in movies or video games or something. If this is what it looks like, I feel like you can see like, 3D like depth to this elephant here. That's pretty insane detail. Wow. That would be something really cool to see in person. When traffic comes to a complete stop in Germany, the drivers, by law, must move towards the edge of each side to create an open lane for emergency vehicles. Yes, look at how amazing this looks. It's like I basically have a viral video seeing firefighters responding to a car fire, and of course on the highway Autobahn. And yeah, I was just amazed that everyone parted like the Red Sea. That was like what I said, that's what I thought of. It was like everyone is perfectly parting each side. And I actually forgot that is the law. That's actually pretty interesting. But yeah, regardless of that or not, people do an amazing job of just in synchronization getting out of the way. And of course, that creates a path for emergency vehicles, which is, the goal. And that's very needed when time is of the essence. Very impressive. German Olympic gymnasts fight against sexualization of women by wearing unitards for the first time. Oh, unitards. Is this... God, what is a unitard? This thing, right? What do they normally wear? Isn't this what they normally wear? I feel like I'm missing the beat on this one. Any of these I do miss the beat on, I do apologize, and you can inform me in the comments. My only thought is that these are full body. I guess I feel like gymnasts usually wear like it's upper body, right? Or especially women. And maybe it's like shorter up here. The legs are like exposed, right? I don't know. I'm not sure. Instead of a Bible, the German hotel leaves a copy of the UN's Declaration of Human Rights. That's pretty practical. Nice. Cherry blossom. Whoa, in April, cherry blossoms bloom in Germany, gifted by Japan after the reunification. My God, look at that picture. That's insane the way they are, of course, planted on each side, and they grow kind of over this road. That's outrageous. It looks like a painting, right? Wow, is that real? That is beautiful. I mean, seeing that pink is just so exotic. And yeah, the way it grows over the street. That's really cool. I've been down a few roads here in the U.S. where the trees are growing over the street, and it's beautiful, but nothing quite like that, not with these particular trees. A German city has installed a number of pods for homeless people fitted with thermal insulation. Wow, see, that's Germany. That's next level to sleep in. Damn, that's really nice. Yeah, I think I can safely say I've never seen anything thought of or thought out like this in the U.S. Big homeless problem here, and unfortunately something even simple like this is pretty absent as far as I know. So Kromelau Bridge in Germany, that is insane. Oh my God. I mean, it's beautiful. It also looks dangerous. Like be paying attention when you're walking across that, right? The tampon book. Tampons in Germany have a normal 19% value-added tax. Books only 7%. So tampons are sold as a book with the great slogan, "Stop taxing periods, period." Wow, is that clever? Holy crap. I would have never known anything like that. That is crazy tax on that. So that's a workaround where they're saving tons of tax. Almost the regular tax would have been almost triple. So it's a book. That's really clever. This is oh God, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this correctly, so you can already laugh at me if you want. This is the Neustadt Kunst of Passage. Neustadt Kunst of Passage. I don't know. I tried, guys. A building in Germany that plays music when it rains. What the hell? How? First of all, this looks like something out of a movie as well. All these, what is going on here? It's really cool. Well, yeah, kind of like an art piece in a city or something out of a movie is what I keep coming to. That's really neat. How does it play, like the same song or like a tone? Huh. The Technical University of Munich, Germany has slides on the fourth floor if you didn't feel like taking the stairs. Okay, these are wicked. That is actually hella cool. The way it's integrated and you still have tons of room down here. It's not like it's in the way per se. Oh my God. I mean, hey, some days got to get your steps in, right? Got to get those stairs in. But doesn't hurt every once in a while, especially maybe towards the end of the day. Whoosh, slide on down. That looks hella fun. I've never heard of that. The small German city Bad Weibel had enough space in the city center for a new library building. So they build the first and only library bridge in Europe. My God, that's crazy. I mean, I guess that's innovative, huh? You don't have room, but you need a bridge here. Why not combine the two? It's actually a pretty cool idea. Wuppertal Suspension Railway in Germany. Damn, that is crazy. Especially going over the water like that. Look how futuristic that looks, though. At least to me. Maybe it looks normal where you're watching from. To me, that looks hella futuristic. Damn. Yep, I've never seen anything like that. Crosswalk signals in Friedberg, Germany, the town where Elvis Presley served in the U.S. Army. No way. That is cool. It's literally Elvis. How fun is that? I mean, it's still functional. Wow, I'm surprised that's not a theme in more cities worldwide, actually. That you could make stoplights into kind of cool, little Easter eggs, some cool themes worked in there that's relative to the area. But while still being functional, of course, right? I mean, that's cool. I've never really heard of that for any stoplights. Or crosswalk signals, rather. Some Americans worry vaccines will have microchips to track them, their phones. Right? In their back pocket at all times. Though I'd show you guys what we do in schools in Germany. Yeah, I've heard German memes are pretty crazy. I've looked at Euro memes versus American memes. I haven't really looked at German memes. I might have to. A wheelchair swing in Germany. Oh my God. And it even has the sign right there. Wow. I feel like the U.S. is pretty good with handicap infrastructure, right? So, wheelchair accessible places are usually, I feel like, pretty good, at least from what I've seen in the U.S. But I've never seen anything like this. This is next level. That's really cool, right? Because everyone wants to have fun, That's a really cool idea. That's thoughtful. German professor who is a hardcore Star Wars fan just repainted an observatory into R2-D2. That's legendary. It's a perfect shape for it. It'd be pretty cool to see on the side of the road. This house covered with overgrown ivy in Botanischer Garden Geben, the oldest botanical garden in Germany. Again, apologize for the horrible pronunciations. That is insane. That's actually really cool. It's like being consumed by the ivy. The fact that it's different colors really looks wild, though. Women-only parking in Germany. About 7% of violent crimes against women occur in parking garages, and this is an attempt to make parking safer for women. Wow, that's really, really innovative stuff I'm seeing so far. That's clever as well. Really cool. I don't think I've seen women-only parking for that kind of scenario here in the U.S. This was a view as I stepped off my train in Cologne, Germany. That is just... That's amazing. I don't even know how stuff like that's built. It blows my freaking mind. In Germany, there's a water park called Tropical Islands. What? I got to see more on this. It's a literal tropical island built inside an old blimp hangar? Okay, that is too freaking cool. That's not what I picture when I picture Germany. How cool that there is something like that without even having to go far away. That's really neat. Fun facts about Germany. No fun in Germany. Go back to work. Holy crap. What is this? A parking lot? Frankfurt, Germany, stunning geometrical parking offers 60% of space and easy parking and exit. Oh my God. I've always been, so like in the US, we either have the regular parking where it's just like you have to pull 90 degrees into a spot, like, so it's totally perpendicular to the aisles, which I don't really prefer those. I prefer angled parking ones, but they don't operate like this. I can see that this is angled. So, picture my mouse cursor. You're driving along, looking for a spot, and then you pull in at an angle. That's nice and easy. It's also nice and easy to back out. That's why I like those better. But this is actually like pieces that fit together, right? Like that. That's actually really clever. God, even down to details like that. That's just, wow. That's what I like in certain countries, especially like Germany, like seeing innovation like that. It's just so cool. Manhole cover in Wiesbaden, Germany. Or Wiesbaden, yeah. That's crazy. Eschenheimer Turm. Wow, look at this contrast. First of all, like, whoa, we have like a castle-looking thing here. We have these older style buildings and then this. What a contrast. That's pretty crazy, dude. This McDonald's has a drive-through for boats located in Hamburg. McBoat. Look, it's got the order, like, the menu, I'm assuming, right here. How does that work? That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Wow. I don't think we have a McBoat in the U.S. There's a street dedicated to cherry blossoms in Bonn. Is that the same one we saw earlier? Maybe from above, yeah? That's pretty wild. Cat-shaped kindergarten. Okay, that's cool. That's just cool. I bet that's really fun for the kids, right? Hey, we're going to go to the big cat today. It kind of makes it maybe even more fun for them. A little more exciting. That's cool. In Germany, you can play Pong? No freaking way. You could play Pong with the person on the other side of the traffic lights. Okay, come on. What? Okay, Germany's a different planet, dude. That's insane. Why do I find that so cool? It's these little details. They go a long way, man. That's hella cool. There's an elevator that has an aquarium inside of it. What? Wait, an elevator with an aquarium inside of it? How does that work? So, see, the picture looks like the water's on the outside. I'm picturing like an elevator where you stand and there's an aquarium on the inside, like you're looking at it, right? But this is showing opposite. Maybe you're in the inside and the aquarium surrounds you? I don't know. That's pretty crazy regardless. Damn. This antique door from, I was going to say 1830, excuse me, 1380. In Regensburg, Germany, helps finding the keyhole after you drank too much wine. Oh my God. They thought of that all the way back then, huh? That's wild. In Germany, we have puke sinks in some public places that have events like Oktoberfest. Look, as funny as that is, I mean, let's get real. That's actually really clever, again, really smart. Like, that should be a thing. Because, look, if you're at a place that has certain events that, people are going to get a little turned up, you might as well have the resources there to make everything easier, Don't want them puking all over the floor, all over the toilets. Why not have that? That's pretty smart. Germany just built an electric highway to curb pollution from diesel trucks. I have seen pictures of this. I don't think I've seen a video on it. I always wonder what this was about. As you know, I love Euro trucks, like content. I have a whole series on that on this channel. I love Scanias, by the way. We see Scanias right there. Hella cool. But in this, you can see that there's this, they're connected to these wires that are hanging there, right? So that tells me that they just go along those and it's being powered by that. So these must be full-on electric, I'm assuming. Now, I don't know how that works when they have to like change roads or like drop off something. Maybe you guys can explain that. But that's, I mean, this in theory seems pretty wild for sure. Even if it's like halfway, like they can do most of the trip on those and then maybe like they can have a engine take over when they leave. Maybe I'm overthinking this. I don't know. It seems pretty cool though. German Supermarkets has a genius in charge of beer promotions. Now, promos for products are something that could be cool from anywhere, for sure. I think it's cool seeing what companies can come up with. This one is wild, though, because we have beer all over the place that looks like a freaking stadium. That's awesome. And presumably a football game down there, right? Or something. That's hella cool. This bridge in Germany was painted to look like Legos. How does it look like that? They nailed it. That almost looks fake. So if it's real, I'm not, my apologies. I'm not calling it fake. It just looks fake. Like that's really cool. I think it's fun when places do stuff like that. Add a little spice in the day, Shopping cart cleaning machine. That's crazy. What? Oh my God. I've never heard of that. Do shopping carts get dirty? I mean, usually I've heard of when you get a cart, most stores have like the wipes. You grab the antibacterial wipe and wipe off like the handle and stuff, but that is pretty wild. Like a car wash for your cart. In space, you can still see the border between East and West Berlin due to the different type of light bulbs. That's crazy. Is it still like that? I've seen pictures like that. Germany has outdoor store that has a pool in the basement where you can try out canoes. Huh. That's pretty cool. A work piece that you have to design and build yourself to be a licensed carpenter. Oh my God. That's kind of a cool test, right? Like, are you for real? Well, here you go. Build this. And, draft your own beer. Snowy bridge? Jeez. Oh my God. How big is that? Not gonna lie, that's terrifying. The old German man out of Lego bricks in front of a Legoland Germany wears sandals with socks. That's absolutely hilarious. What a sin. No, I don't care at all, but I know some people freak out about wearing sandals and socks. That is actually really cool. This is how much an emergency ambulance ride ended up costing me in Germany. A whole 10 euros. Well, I can't say the same, can I? You don't want to know here. It can vary, but it's a little more than 10. A little more than 10 euros. In the U.S., giant slide at a playground. Geez, look at that staircase. That's more what I'm looking at. You go up a hell of a journey of a spiral staircase. But then you do have a cool payoff. That slide. Wow. This slide actually looks really cool. But I feel like, I don't know if it's like stainless steel or what it is. Looks like it would get hella hot in the sun. I will say that. But two, that looks fun. We've seen multiple slides from Germany now. I guess they have amazing slide culture there. Pretty neat. Sandy wave surfing in German sports store. That's cool. That's like almost look like a mall. There's cool stuff in the malls here. They're all a little bit different, but I've never seen a wave pool in a mall. The escalator at uni in Stuttgart's stop has been broken for weeks. And there's memes posted all over it. I love it. That's pretty cool. A black house. Whoa, what the heck is that about? Geez, that is like a matte black, too. It is like, doesn't match anything. Looks like something didn't load, like a texture didn't load in a video game. A house being moved. What the hell? I guess I've heard of that, though. I think that can happen here as well. This baggage claim in Frankfurt, Germany. Look at the, it's like a roulette wheel. Oh my God. That's hella cool. Guacamole in Germany. Oh, it's like a kit. It's got the avocado and everything. What the heck? I wonder how much that is. I mean, it's kind of a cool idea, right? Having kits for stuff, like instead of just picking out everything, just have it all. Make like DIY, like make your own. But you don't have to find all the different stuff. You got it all in one place. It's pretty neat. This graveyard rack is the most German thing I've seen. What? Relatives bring their own watering can and lock it to a designated watering can rack. Wow. I'll be honest, I don't even know. Wow, I feel like dumb right now. I don't know what that is about. I mean, seems interesting. Please explain that to me if I'm missing a beat. I'm pretty sure I am there. In Germany, they serve ice cream meant to look like spaghetti. Now that is cool. I've had rolled ice cream before. I think that's super cool. Of course, I had regular ice cream in a million different ways, but spaghetti ice cream. That's a really cool idea. I actually like that. What interesting stuff from Australia. Let's go. Alrighty, so first up we have this remoteness warning sign in Australia. I've seen these before, although I don't know if I've seen this exact version. As we can see clearly in the outback here. Says, warning, remote areas ahead. The following precautions are advised. Carry adequate fuel, water, food, current road maps, and 2 spare tires. Whoa, that's how you know you're in the middle of nowhere. 2 jacks, shovel, first aid kit, toolkit, and tow rope. Drink water at regular intervals to avoid dehydration. Travel at speeds appropriate to road conditions. Avoid night driving when wildlife and livestock may be active. In the event of a breakdown, never leave your vehicle. Wow, that's in all caps in red. Do not camp in waterways. Flash floods can occur without warning. Avoid wet weather driving. Roads can become dangerous and impassable. Keep friends or relatives informed of your outback travel itinerary. For road condition information, phone, and then it gives a number. That's pretty intimidating. That's how you know you are going to an extremely remote area. There's, of course, maybe an element of peace in that, like you're going to be somewhere really peaceful and quiet and truly away from all the noise and all the craziness of the world, right? But at the same time, it's very intimidating because you are going to be so far removed from day-to-day life that most people are a part of. It can be very, very scary, and it can be deadly if you're not careful. That's a lot of text for saying you are exiting the map boundary. Turn back now. There's nothing out there for you yet. We regularly get the ill-informed tourists who think they can just casually drive across Australia. If they're lucky, they'll be eventually found. That is scary. That is scary because so many people underestimate how big Australia is and how empty big parts of it are. It's not like driving across the middle of the U.S. where, yeah, you'll find spots that are pretty, empty, but driving through Iowa and driving through Nebraska and driving through Kansas, they might be empty compared to some big metropolitan areas, but they're nothing like this. You're still near civilization in most places. This is truly remote, of course, when we're talking about the center of Australia. Check this out. We have colorful bugs in Australia. Anyone ID these for me? These are actually spectacular. As someone who generally, is not a huge fan of bugs, I have to say these are kind of gorgeous. The patterns and the colors on these, it's insane. In Australia, most products have a scale showing how much of it was produced in Australia. Have I noticed that? I've seen an Australian-made thing on a bunch of stuff from Mailtime. I don't know if I noticed the scale. That's really neat, actually. I thought the scale represented how much kangaroo the item was made out of. Jeez. I'm with this one. Every country should do this. I like that. I'm not sure. I think a lot of products in the U.S. aren't like this. I know only some are. I like big things like cars. I know on your build sheet and your window sticker when you buy a car, it breaks down how much percentage this car, where the parts came from, how much percentage of it's American parts, and then if they're foreign, it breaks down which country they came from and, kind of stuff like that. And, of course, where it was assembled, all that jazz. So I know with cars, for example, we have a breakdown of how much of it's American. But, yeah, I think a lot of stuff I don't see, we don't have this where it says Australian made or in our case, American made, and it shows how much is truly like that. At most, you'll see stuff that might say made in the USA. But you don't. That's about all you get. A massive earthworm found in Queensland. Good God. That is insane. It's always Queensland, too. Queensland has just just the weirdest animal kingdom ever. It's insane. Look at this tsunami cloud from Sydney, Australia. What in the world? Is this real? That's one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life. Oh, my God. I can't tell if it's real or not. That is insane. Please, if someone knows, confirm if this is fake or if this is real. That is frightening, man. Those people sailing must be going really slow due to the weight of their balls, OMG. What? Alpine ambulances in Australia? What? Okay, that is sick as hell. How have I not seen these? Oh my God. I thought stuff like these would be only found in like, I don't know, like northern Canada or something, or the North Pole. These are wicked. I'm a bit ashamed to admit it. I didn't realize it snowed in Australia, or at least enough to warrant special vehicles. I know it's a whole continent, but I thought it was just mostly coast with a desert in the middle. Yeah, I mean, that's the assumption, and, you know, it's somewhat true. You don't think of it as a snowy place, but as a whole, yeah, as a whole, it doesn't snow in a lot of places. But the places it does snow in Australia, they get a considerable amount, which is pretty wild that you would need vehicles like this. There they are. Okay, no way. We have this titled Crocodile Eats Shark in Australia. Let me just add, only in Australia would you see a crocodile and a shark fighting. Holy smokes, man. They're scary, those crocs, when they're looming around in the water like that. Wow. Well, not quite the shark I was picturing. A little smaller, but nonetheless. That is a crazy... Oh, my God. There it is. That's nature, folks. Oh, that poor guy. Oh, my goodness.
Straight down. Dinner.
Oh, my God. That thing is huge. Holy shit. Damn, he just swallowed it whole. What the hell? Australia, home of the real-life dinosaurs. Can we talk about how chill this guy recording was? Like, Australians see crazy shit happening, and they're always just so chill. Like, what is going on here? Take a look at how freaky this is. North coast of Australia, 1 week difference. This was, of course, I believe 4 years ago, or 5 maybe now, during the unbelievable fires, right? How scary apocalypse on the bottom. And of course, how scary to think that it looked like that when it should look like a beautiful place, like on top. Jeez. Red Cliffs, Australia. You know me, I absolutely, just for some reason, love red rocks, red deserts, that type of thing. That's why Australia is like almost my dream place, because it has a lot of that. That is just beautiful to me. That literally blows my mind how freaking cool this looks. Oh my God. This is a really interesting map. It says the U.S. draws net migration from the entire world except Australia. It's actually mind-blowing. You know, all the green here, look at the massive amounts of green. Those are countries where more people are leaving to the U.S. than coming in. And it is truly almost the whole world. It's insane. And then you have Australia. That's crazy. I mean, it's really, really fascinating. And I mean, I don't blame you guys at all, right? You live in a beautiful place and a great country. And, you know, I think a long time ago, America would have been competitive. Of course, I think it's an absolute shithole now. So, yeah, this country has fallen fast. And I wouldn't think anyone would want to leave Australia for the U.S. anymore. Typical golf match in Australia. This is supposed
for golf today. They've all decided to settle in the middle of the fairway.
Look at that. That's insane. Nowhere on earth could you find this. It's just hilarious. The Australian experience looks to be so unique. It's kind of freaky, right? doesn't know what to do. Oh, they're moving on. Thank goodness. She can get her shot off now. I mean, please tell me in the comments, have you ever been surrounded by kangaroos like that? I mean, how are you actually supposed to handle it? Because I feel like, because remember, I don't know, right? We don't have kangaroos here like this. Like, is that a dangerous situation, potentially? How are you supposed to handle that? Is it kind of scary? Okay, this is hilarious. We have a spike strip warning sign in Australia. As you can see, wrong way, go back. And you can actually see the real spike strip down here. But they go the extra mile on this side. It shows a car going over, and it looks like they're going into a crocodile's mouth. This is another thing you might only see in Australia. Warning, swooping birds, protect your eyes, head and face, walk, don't run, or ride your bike. Avoid this area if possible. That's the third bullet point. Just avoid this area if possible. That's your best bet. Dedicated to a better Brisbane. This is a Brisbane sign. Nice. Well, I think we've all seen the Northern Territories CU in the NT, right? If you could piece that together. Well, it looks like South Australia is trying to compete. Go down south with your mouth. I can't believe they did this. This might be one of the coolest logos I've ever seen. This is the Climbers Association of Western Australia. And it looks like legit a mountain range with the guy climbing, but instead it's actually CAWA. Really, really freaking smooth. I like this. This is kind of another one with Yoga Australia. Now you can see a girl doing a yoga pose. But if you look closely right here, right, this is the shape of Australia, like pretty much, right? Of course, we don't have Tasmania, but use your imagination here. That's pretty cool. This is interesting. This is a road safety poster from South Australia. It depicts a car crash, but it's actually a phone. So, you know, saying good drivers just drive. So that's pretty effective, I would say. This is a secondhand store in Australia. You see? You get it? That is, that's one way to do it. This is one of the weirdest buildings, I guess, I've ever seen. This is One Central Park, Sydney, Australia. We have a really interesting deal here because we have like a modern looking building, but it has greenery incorporated into it, which on the surface actually is a really cool idea. I will say it almost looks like looks like a building from some futuristic apocalyptic movie where it looks like abandoned and, you know, overgrowth is happening on it. So I hope that, you know, it doesn't come across wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. But I do like the idea of having green, you know, more greenery mixed in to our concrete jungles, you know. So, I mean, it's kind of cool. But I'm really worried about this. Like, what is this? It looks like it's floating in midair. Like, I don't even know how this works. This doesn't even look like it's connected over here. This is just a fascinating and, quite frankly, strange building. If anyone wants to weigh in on this, I mean, what is going on here? This is kind of interesting. We have a Harry Seidler designed house, 1948 Australia. Is this from 1948 for real? That seems like way too futuristic looking for 1948. Unless it's been renovated or something. I don't know. Regardless of when it's from, this is very bizarre, but kind of cool. Beautiful Opera House, Sydney, Australia. One of the most epic pics I've ever seen. I mean, is there a bad picture of this place? I've never seen one. This is gorgeous. And to end the video, we have the cutest picture of a quokka. Well, a quokka or two. And of course, Western Australia. Oh my God, are they hilarious, right? Oh man, they're so funny. I lied. This is our last one. This is funny. This is voting in Australia. I love how everyone's like, some people are bare feet, otherwise everyone else has thongs, and not much else on. Like, look at this, right? And I love how this guy is like copying from this girl over here, like in school, doing the old peekaroo. I don't know. This is pretty funny. And this is definitely only in Australia. All right, so starting it out with a heat wave, you know, here in the Northern Hemisphere, it is summer, of course, and it has been really kicking in this second half of June, I must say, especially around here. Also in some European areas. Hello, Europe. This week we entered a very high temperature all around Europe. Right now in Belgrade, Serbia, it is 39 degrees. Now, this is, of course, in Celsius. That even I know that is really, 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 really hot. The hottest day of June. In the direct sun, it says over 53. Holy crap. So where are you from and what is the current temperature? I hope you're all doing well. We have a nice picture there. I don't know of what, but it's pretty cool and definitely looks like Europe. 38 degrees in Bucharest, 42 real feel. I'm actively melting. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, Serbia is down there, so I imagine they can get hot. It's not somewhere I think of that, in my head that would be super hot, but I suppose it can happen, especially in summer. Bucharest, of course, Romania. Again, I wouldn't think of them as being a, heat dome, but 38 degrees is really hot. Heat waves can really kind of happen anywhere, and I'm sure it's pretty crazy. Estonia 18C, there we go. Teach me your ways. Estonia is a place to be. I'm assuming those northern countries up there, right? Finland, Estonia, Latvia, and then, of course, Sweden, Norway. That places like that, I'm sure are, I would guess, like very popular in the summer, right? I could see people from up there maybe going a little more south in the winter if they want to get away for a better climate. And of course, in summer, people from way down might go up there because who wants to melt in the sun when you could go up there and have a nice, pleasant, 18 or 20 degree Celsius a day. I think that sounds awesome. Budapest, 35 Celsius. I'm in a full black suit. I'm going to die. Yeah, wearing black too, wearing dark colors like me. I don't know what I'm doing. It makes it even hotter. And if you drive a black vehicle, well, oh, geez. Yeah, you're going to cook. Why not just pull up the heat map? So you can see in the U.S. right now when I'm filming this, this is like midday. It's pretty hot, right, throughout the whole country. Parts of the West are actually going through a cool down. A few days ago, this was all red over here, and they're starting to get some rain, which is rare out west, so they're actually going through a cool down in most areas, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, you can see kind of everywhere over here is just boiling hot in the Midwest and the Southeast. Actually, let me change that to Celsius. So, of course, I'm here in the northeastern Illinois area. It's really, really, really hot. Of course, up into Wisconsin and, Minnesota, though, they're looking nice. So, funnily enough, a lot of Northern European settlers, a long time ago settled in this region. Guess it kind of reminded them of home. I get it. And if we travel across the Atlantic, you can see most of Europe here. Now, of course, I didn't change the time yet. So this would be, basically nighttime in most, all of Europe pretty much. And you can see it's still hot at night. Granted, it's probably about maybe sunset. So not quite nighttime, but you get it. It's pretty crazy. It's the tail end of the day and it's still that hot. Let's look ahead, see if it's going to cool down. It's supposed to cool down. Oof, maybe another heat wave coming early next week. Look at that. That is absolutely nuts. Interesting to see the temperatures, like look at, again, northern countries up here. They have it made in the summer, right? Maybe it's a little harsh in the winter, but in the summer, it's a place to be. Look at the heat really gets around unless you're, I'm assuming, high elevation here. Yeah, of course, we have mountains when you zoom in. So Switzerland and parts of Austria get some relief with the elevation. And then you go down here into Africa, and oh my God, Mauritania, it's over. You're cooked. Oh, quick picture, sticking with a little love for Serbia here, something different. Beautiful place. Look at that. This is Tara National Park, Serbia. Let me know if you've ever been there. This is a nice shot. The best places I've had a chance to spend a weekend at. Amazing food, amazing nature, great people around. Please stop advertising. Once they find out, it will become a mine. Oh my God. And one more, because it's the same place. This came up, Tara National Park through the window of an abandoned hut, Serbia. That's freaking awesome. That is a cool picture. Rarely do you get a perspective like that turns out pretty good on camera. I don't know how they actually did that. That is awesome. Tara National Park is notable for its rich biodiversity and unique geological features, covered an area of approximately 19,200 hectares, with many regions designated as protected due to their ecological significance. Remarkably, the Serbian spruce found here is a living relic from the Tertiary. I'm butchering that. I'm sorry. Period. It has gained recognition for being critically endangered, highlighting the conservation efforts needed in this vital habitat. That is freaking awesome. Okay, the new Mercedes AMG GT looks like a fish. What? 2026 concept AMG GT XX, 1300 horsepower. What? How the hell? In a street legal vehicle? Even as an American, we love horsepower, but dude, 1300. Remember when 300 or 400 horsepower was a fast car? Why do you need 1300? That's almost too much. Damn. Look at the wheels. That thing literally looks like something made for the track only. It also does look weird. I'm trying to see the whole fish thing. Okay, maybe a little bit from that front shot. It kind of looks okay from the side. Yeah, it does look weird in the front. Why does it have a fish mouth? And then like the way it's angled and the fenders and the way the headlights kind of flow like that, it does look like they're almost on the side, like fish eyes. I don't like these wheels, by the way. I know they're pretty rare, but some manufacturers do this. I can't stand that. But hey, that's just me. I couldn't afford something like this anyway, so why does it really matter? That is interesting. I have mixed feelings about this car. The back, first of all, does not look Mercedes to me. It's so different. It doesn't look like a Mercedes. It kind of looks cool, but for some reason the back of it reminds me of I feel like I'm looking at a like an unlicensed car, right? Like a fake car you would find in, GTA, like a video game, right? I don't know why I'm getting that vibe. This thing's kind of a weird mess. I kind of applaud when manufacturers take a chance and try and break the mold, right? Try and do something a little different. So I have to applaud that for anyone, but boy, is this not your typical Mercedes. It's very, very odd and out there. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay. I don't know exactly where this is. Okay, we're highlighting this guy. What's he going to do? Our camera car has stopped at this crosswalk, rightfully so. People are crossing. Many, many people are crossing. Why is this guy not going? Wow. That guy, they're the worst. That guy's the kind of guy that can make anyone frustrated. Look at that. Loser, dude. What are you doing, man? All these people were crossing. You could have crossed. He's acting like, oh, I'm just going to wait here. Okay, so they finally continue to go, the car. And then he's like, oh, actually, I'm going to walk across. It gives you a dirty look. That's rich. Yeah, he's trying to get some sort of weird, twisted payday or something. What an idiot. Sometimes you can't win against a professional wanker. That is a great comment. Ivana Bacik speaks while holding up meme of US VP JD Vance in Irish Parliament? What memes are making their way into Parliament, into official business, official government business? I don't know if that's purely hilarious or a little odd, a little concerning. I'm not sure. I'm going to lean towards this pretty hilarious. Come on. Look at her face, too, while holding that up. I'm never letting this image of the story behind it die. I'm gonna be telling my grandkids about nickname Vance. Yeah, I can't say it because literally YouTube has been trying to flag videos for the dumbest reasons. So I gotta play it safe. USA in general is a meme nowadays. Yes, that is true. I don't know if this is real. You'll have to let me know. Check this out. My neighbor is training to be part of Team USA at the Mermaid Olympics in Europe. What on earth? That can't be real, right? Europe made from an orange. There it is. Wow. Kind of like, yeah, you have to use your imagination a little bit, but it's pretty good, right? You see Italy here. You see the whole coastline. Northern Europe. Yeah, it's a stretch, but it's kind of cool. The Shambles, York, England, in early morning, the best preserved medieval street in Europe. Wow. That is insane. Dude, I want to see somewhere like that in person. I mean, that to me, right, of course, an American, like, I can only think of that as somewhere you would see in a movie. That doesn't even seem real, right? I can't find anywhere that looks like that here unless it's at Disney World, right? That is insane. That is so cool. I'll bet it smells significantly better than in medieval times. This one's interesting. Majestic palms of, I don't know what this is. Lopid? Among the largest in Europe. So, like, largest palm trees in Europe. Look how tall those are. Now, that's awesome. That's like stuff I've seen. You know, I've seen large palm trees, you know, many places usually in the Southwest or the Southeast of the U.S. I know there's places that clearly have a ton of different plants, and including palm trees throughout Europe as well. But they do seem spectacularly tall. Where is this at, though? Has anyone been there? You have to let me know. So when you actually look it up, it's an island in Croatia. Now, how freaking cool is that? Look at the pictures of this place. It's spectacular. Damn, Croatia really always kind of blows my mind. When I discovered new things, a lot of times it ends up being in Croatia, and it's just like, what a place. Look at that's a resort on that island. Holy smokes. This is not what I think of when I think of Europe. That is freaking crazy. And the fact that you're on an island, I mean, that's pretty fun, right? If we go to maps, yeah, and there it is right there. So you zoom out a little bit. It's not like it's kind of the best of both worlds, right? Like you get to be on an island, but you're not way out in the middle of nowhere where you're just like, you're helpless, right? Like you're still next to mainland. You're just a little bit out, right? It's so cool. What an interesting place, man. Croatia's got a fascinating shape, right? Like they have all this coastline that sneaks way down here. We have Munster. I hope that's right. Munster, Germany. Just a beautiful picture, right? I mean, that just captures the essence of what I would think of as Germany. So freaking cool, dude. Woltersdorf, Germany. Some new trams. Because why not? This is something we just, of course, don't know much about here in the U.S. either. And it ended before it passed. Gotta love it. The difference between Germany and Greece weather report. Okay, so this is for anyone doubting that there's not crazy diversity and differences of living in Europe. This is mostly aimed at fellow Americans. Europe can't be wrapped up in one word, right? It's a lot different. Take a look at this.
Es auch leichten Sprüh- oder Nieselregen geben. Nach Süden hin dagegen locker bewölkt, zum Teil sogar sternenklar, insbesondere Richtung Bo.
So I probably had to mute some of that for copyright reasons. Again, I know. Why does YouTube squash fun so much? Dude, that was freaking awesome. Quite a difference, right? On one hand, you can almost kind of appreciate like how serious and how precise the delivery was for the German weather, right? It's fun for me hearing the different languages too. And then you just get hit with a bunch of colors and dancing and music. Everyone's smiling, have a great time with the Greek weather report. That is absolutely hilarious. What a difference. That looks like a fun place to work. Wow. You know, I got to give the fun factor and like kind of good way to start your day to the Greeks there. That Greece weather report is freaking awesome. In Italy, colonels of the Air Force are the weathermen. What? German weather hasn't been the same since Bernard stopped moderating? What on earth? Is that real? We had the pleasure of this site in Estonia like 15 years ago. I'm German, and if I see or hear something with this level of hype and energy in the morning, I immediately turn it off and go back to being serious. A rail line connecting mainland northern Germany to the Heligan Islands in the North Sea? Oh my god, that's the scariest freaking thing I've ever seen. Dude, oh, that's terrifying. I'm trying to picture. You look out and that's all you see is water. And that rail line that's being consumed by the water. At least it looks like it. Oh my God, that is freaking insane. I'm assuming the water's high, like it's usually not like that. Otherwise, how is there not trains? How is there not trains like just floating in the water? Right? Like people in the comments asking about corrosion, because obviously I'm assuming this would be salt water. And that would do a number on anything in its path, right? So anyone want to comment a little bit on like the science of this, the history of this? How do they maintain this? This looks crazy to me. Pretty cool though for a video and from the comfort of, you know, my own home. Today I learned Italy used to be the 4th largest economy on Earth in 1991, behind only the USA, Japan, and Germany. However, unsustainable budget deficits and massive public debt eventually caught up to them, flatlining their economic growth. Wow, I did not actually know that. I mean, that's relatively recent. I wonder where they rank now. Not exactly sure, but 4th in the world? Just from Italy? Like, Italy is bigger than maybe people think, but it's still not that big, right? At least I think it's not that big. So that's very impressive. Wow. Italy has grown 22% in inflation-adjusted terms in the last 30 years, compared to 27% for Japan, 42% for Germany. Okay, so Japan and Germany are still outgrowing them. The bigger thing for the rankings is that it got wildly outpaced by China, which grew 339% in that time. Holy. China's crazy. Gift for my girlfriend who just received her German citizenship. Well, congrats. Is there a name? Because there's always German words for everything. You'll have to let me know. There's got to be a name for like a German gift basket, right? Look at this. I see Haribo. That's famous, right? Everything else I don't really recognize, but definitely look German. Lidl. I know that's a German store, right? Like kind of like Aldi, like a competitor to them, I suppose. Lidl sandals and socks for some reason. Honestly, I dig it. It's pretty cool. And then a bunch of like official papers and potatoes. Very cool. This is actually neat. Is this a good German gift basket, or could they have done better? Is there something missing? You got to let me know. Take me there. Bucket list right here. Take me there. Let's see. Bucket list places. Climb Mount Everest or go to the beer section in a German supermarket. I know which one I'm picking. This door to the dining area of the Alcobaça Monastery in Portugal was made so narrow that monks who got too fat were forced to go into fasting. Oh my goodness, that is hilarious. Dude, things like this are just so fun. When you see like random weird things that were done in the past, it's kind of like, as annoying as that is, it's kind of smart. Like, this will keep you honest. It really will. You got to stay in shape, otherwise you're not getting through the door. I'm just sorry for that one jacked monk that was trying to get his proteins. Something about a jacked monk is very cool. I want to meet one. There's got to be some monks along the way that were pretty ripped, right? I don't know. Dude, I could get lost in these for hours. I'm going to have to film another one soon. This is fun. I love looking at fascinating and interesting posts from and about European countries. Pretty crazy stuff. So first up, we have Royal Guard faints during King Charles's birthday ceremony. This is pretty crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. We can actually do this. Maybe we can do this one, actually. So this guy, the video starts out, he's already on the ground, fainted. Somehow comes back to it, stands up, but he's clearly out of it. It's kind of scary. And you know what? I admire the dedication, right? What a trooper, man. This guy is going back at it. Clearly not feeling right, though. Thankfully, they are there quickly to help, and he is carried off on a stretcher, rightfully so. Now, I'm imagining, I don't know the whole context here. I'm imagining it's pretty warm out. I mean, it looks to be very sunny. And I assume these uniforms are very hot, right? I just imagine they are, especially if it's sunny out and it's, just any sort of a warm day. So, yeah, honestly, it's kind of scary to see. I mean, that sucks. You never want to see people passing out from the weather, especially in like a nice, something as important as this and as formal as this. It sucks. But honestly, true dedication from this individual as well. I mean, he was willing to get right up and get back into it. No one's going to mention the other guy being carried off by stretcher in the background. They're dropping like flies. Whoa. Hold up. The other one. There's the team coming to get him. Where's the other one at? Oh my God, right there. I did not notice that. I was looking at this guy the first time. Holy crap. Wow. That is freaky. Jeez, man. What an unfortunate side effect of, what's supposed to be a nice event, I imagine. Alrighty, we're traveling to Spain, España, for this one. Check it out. If I can get it showing here. Now, air shows are awesome. Look at that. What a beast. Whoa, whoa. Some crazy maneuvers. Whoa. Whoa. Look at this. So, I mean, first of all, what a place for an air show. I've seen a couple, of course, kind of in flat areas in like Illinois and stuff. Not with a backdrop like this. This is a beautiful area for an air show, but also, I mean, kind of scary, right? I mean, you gotta have that bird in order, right? Looks like a F-18, doesn't it? Jeez, he gets low, really low. I don't know if he meant to do that, if he's just like a boss, or if it got a little out of his hands a little bit. It kind of floppily comes down kind of hard, right? And luckily this thing has so much power, he's able to scoop it out of it. But it appears to be super, super low to the water and like near the beach there. I imagine that would be scarier than shit. Now, real quick, I will show you, we have a different camera angle from the beach so you can see the maneuver not go correctly there. Oh, that is freaky. Wow, that is freaky. What a beautiful, thunderous sound from that thing. I'd say that's a hell of a recovery, right? I'm not a pilot, so, don't take my word for it, but I feel like that maneuver didn't go exactly how they had planned. But an amazing recovery. Wow, thank goodness no one was hurt here. Meanwhile, in Finland, they have a reflection spray for deer to decrease accidents. Now, this is something absolutely wild. You see this? I don't know if this photo's enhanced or whatever, but I mean, even if it has half the brightness of a sort of reflection like we see in the right picture here, that is insanely useful. I mean, it works. It's also scary as hell. This looks like something straight out of a horror game, right? I mean, you're coming up on the street and you see this. You're going to see it. You also might, your skin might crawl in your vehicle before you are able to maneuver around this thing. I mean, wow. What a concept, though. This is one of those things where you never think of until you see it done. And it's almost like a relatively simple idea, but yet it kind of amazingly genius at the same time. And we have a view in a German ambulance. Now, I expect this to be incredible, as we've seen clips like this before. Right away, pulling up to this, you think, how are you going to get through this? That's what my American mind thinks. But sure enough, look at this. Look at the prep here. I mean, how is this even done ahead of time? I don't know. Right? I mean, everything happens right away here. Like if an ambulance is coming, people aren't going to be maneuvering in front of it until it's right on top of them. And then you're praying that they actually know where to go. Because, some American drivers, of course, just don't. But look at this. I mean, the whole area is cleared. They had a perfect, literally party in the Red Sea, I always say, right? Like, they had a perfect area to sneak through very easily. And there's, of course, the wrecked car in question. Awesome emergency vehicles, as always. And, of course, that's what gives us Germans tears of joy when things work as they are supposed to. Much respect. It almost brings me to tears. Seeing things that I must have that, sort of trait, because I can appreciate when things, even simple things, work exactly how they are supposed to. It's a thing of beauty. And I don't know how everyone doesn't just appreciate that. It's not just discipline or kindness. If you fail to create a lane and block an emergency vehicle, you will be fined. But more importantly, if you embarrass yourself in front of everyone on the road, if you are the sucker who forgot to give way and now have to maneuver under stress with everyone else staring at you. That is a great point, just a second point here, right? That's applicable anywhere. But of course, the first point, I don't know how that works here. I don't think you can really be fined unless you were literally causing an accident here in the U.S., but unfortunately, of course, you're supposed to. There's rules, right? There's road rules. You're supposed to move out of the way, especially usually to the right. It depends on the state here in the U.S. And of course, like I said, many people don't follow it, especially to this degree, like we always see in Germany. But honestly, as someone, who doesn't like tickets and fines, I don't like that as much as the next guy, but maybe they need to do that here, right? Maybe it'll get people's butts in gear and have them get out of the way, because at the end of the day, when fire trucks and ambulances and police personnel are trying to get to a crazy call, they need to get there quickly, because that could be the difference for someone, right? That could be a big deal. People just on their phone and in their own world, not giving a damn about anything around them here, which is unfortunately, it seems like half the cars on the road. It adds up, and it's really dangerous. And it'd be nice if they kind of had some incentive to actually pay attention. And showing some love for Poland here as well. This came up as recommended from that other post, and I have to say, again, excellent job. You just won't see this organized for this amount of time and duration here in the U.S. It's truly spectacular. Right? Look at this. Totally different country. Same incredible just awareness from the masses, right? I mean, I love it. Truly spectacular. The U.S. highways could never. And of course, my favorite comment, guys. See, I'm not the only one. You'll never see that in the USA. Yeah, that's a promise. Look at all these suckers, free lane to the front of traffic. Yeah, this is a genius comment, because that's exactly what multiple people would think. And then that's how you would not have this. In the U.S., there would be a Dodge Ram blocking the middle because they don't want to get cut off when they merge 2 miles early. Or straight up this happens as well. Unfortunately, true story. Now, of course, it's not all perfect, right? I try to show both sides of everything when I can, and this is an example of not so great driving in Germany. And of course, most drivers in most countries in Europe are going to be better than, a huge group here in the U.S. That may be true, but of course, they're not perfect, and there's bad drivers everywhere. And this post, it kind of shows that a little bit. Check this out. Holy crap. Rev limiter and everything. Car alarms. 71 years old. Honestly, in my opinion, that's not that old. I don't know if they're just, what's the deal? Something. I feel like they should know how to drive still. So we don't know the scenario, but they drove right into a parked police car. Yeah. Come on, bro. Now, I imagine this is just a very awkward interaction, right? I'm assuming whoever, what policeman's responsible for that squad car there, I'm assuming they're nearby, or some police personnel's nearby, not to mention other onlookers. That's got to be pretty awkward, right? What do you say to the policeman there? I have to say, this is the most interesting tank video I've seen in a while. We have a tank in the field, but not a war field. Literally a farming field. I believe this is in the UK. Interesting. Now, it makes sense, right? I mean, tanks are awesome, and they can be used for practical uses, right? There's got to be more examples of stuff like this. If you know of any, please let me know. I feel like this is kind of cool, right? Like, think about it. There's a lot of tanks over time that have been made, and of course, no one wants war, so hopefully, you know, there should be no war or less and less wars over time, and you could find uses for the military vehicles, right? Of course. And tanks are kind of awesome when they're just looked at as a vehicle and not as a, you know, war machine. Why not use it for something like this? I kind of like this idea. A return to form, the first tanks were just armored tractors after all. You know what? Oh my God, I have heard that before. That is freaking awesome. The first tanks were just armored tractors. There we go. It is literally basically a tractor. Now that's badass farming. All right, this one's titled, Someone Didn't Have Their Morning Coffee, Perhaps. I can't tell exactly where it's at. It looks like the license plate does say PL in the little EU designation there, so I'm assuming this is Poland, or at least the car is from Poland. Yeah, that's not the right way. Even I know that. That's not how to do a roundabout. Wow, that's awkward. That guy's cracking up. So, what was funny about this is, you know, I skipped the early part. Like, this thing waited around forever. And once they went, after all that, I mean, they were even facing, like, look at them. They were even angled the way they're supposed to go. What are you doing, right? After all that time, they're just like, you know what? I'm going to hook a left into this roundabout. I'm going to drive into traffic, okay? I didn't know it had audio, so I had to show you with audio. They are loving this. Yeah. It's the little things in life that keep you going, right? Nothing like a good laugh in traffic. This is Germany. Okay, another one from Germany. What do we got going on here? This guy has stopped in the middle of the road. What actually looks to be like sort of a major road or a highway, or I should say Autobahn. Oh my God, it's for, what are those, geese? No way. You know what? Bravo, man. Bravo. Hey, safely doing that is a little bit of a task, right? I mean, if you're on what's supposed to be kind of a higher speed road, I feel like that would be kind of a little bit sketchy to try and stop traffic. But you know what? They did it, and they saved whatever those are. If someone wants to weigh in, those look like geese to me, but I'm just not sure. All right, branching out, we're going to look at a couple pretty random, interesting videos from elsewhere. I'm actually not sure where this is from. I think maybe the US or Canada, although I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure this is making the rounds everywhere. Food with a window view. These are food reviewers on some sort of YouTube or TikTok. Yeah, not what they expected at all. Actually terrifying, regardless if you're filming or not. But the fact that they were filming a video and they're mid-bite. And what's funny is, look at this. They're loving it. I think we could gather from the review that wasn't finished is that they like the food. All right? So anyone that was wondering. Also crazy. Like, you see the debris flying in the glass. How scary is that? Now, this is cool. This is back to Europe, of course. This time in the UK, we are in London, England. 700-year-old church in London being suspended in midair. Now, let's kind of zoom in on this guy. This is absolutely mind-blowing to me, right? I mean, construction projects are always fascinating to me. I mean, they're just something that most people take for granted. I mean, look at the size of these excavators and construction equipment, right? They look like toys down there. It's kind of crazy. So you have this deep pit, and you have all this equipment, and you literally do, at least it looks that way to me, this thing is literally elevated, kind of floating, in a sense, right? And to think how ancient it is, 700-year-old, that's just not something you see here in the U.S. So, like, 700-year-old structure, no pressure here, right? I mean, this thing's going through a lot. I think it's fascinating that people can work on this kind of stuff, and pending that they get this done correctly and, nothing gets damaged. I mean, wow. How incredible is that? I freaking love hearing about this. And speaking of ancient structures, this one might be new, but it sure resembles something ancient. Ancient, I should say. Take a look at what this is. Any wild guesses out there? Yeah, you might recognize this as a pretty famous landmark, I'd say. That is a Colosseum made out of chocolate. Yeah. Wow. This is something that's, again, this isn't a construction project, but it kind of is, just scaled down. And this basically is one guy, I think. Again, very impressive. My question is, what do they do? When you see food art like this, in this case, it's just chocolate, and it looks so cool like that, right? The different layers, it kind of looks weathered in parts. It looks like pretty accurate for being made out of chocolate, I have to say. What happens to this after, I would hope you take a million pictures of this and videos. That way you have proof that you did it and people can appreciate it. But if this doesn't, what do you do with this, I guess? And I'm sure there's different scenarios, different things that could happen. Do you eat it? Like, do you just eat a little bit? You have other people share it, and like no one could eat this whole thing, I don't think. I think that's a little too much chocolate. But yeah, what happens to this?
Brand new spring has just opened up.
What?
I'll try and jump. They got.
How do you?
Cool fucking video.
A new formed natural spring bubbling up from the ground. Like, I can't even comprehend that. How are you? Like, imagine just seeing this. What are the chances of that? That is so freaking cool. Look at that. Wow. Okay, that, I could be wrong. That looks like, that looks like the UK, right? And now I don't know where. I don't know if that's Scotland. I don't know if it's Wales. I don't know. You guys can correct me. That is so freaking cool, though.
I'm gonna try and jump. Let's get a cool fucking video.
This is so cool.
You're done?
A video from the Titanic Museum shows how cold the water was for Titanic victims. Oh my God, that's scary, man.
Oh my goodness.
No way,
It's
bro.
like a burning sensation. I'm dead.
You're done? You're done? Oh my God.
8 seconds.
Oh my God. Like, is there a point where this...
Just their hand, by the way.
And, like, people have to pull their hands
Yeah.
You guys for 2 minutes.
Oh my
2
God.
minutes.
We've only got a minute and a half left.
That's like a $500 thing.
So mean. Oh my God.
She lasted 40 seconds. Everyone else was like 8 or 10 or 20. Oh my God, that is scary. The fact that there were a handful of people that were pulled from the water and survived is amazing. I think that makes it even more amazing that we already imagined, right? The Titanic story just, honestly, it freaks me out. Some people are really into it, and like, more power to you. I think it's just scary and sad, man. Interesting fact, submerging your hands in ice water is a somewhat common method of measuring pain threshold. That lady was tough. Wow. That is interesting as well. I mean, it's weird how pain threshold would be related to like temperature, but I guess it actually makes sense. Like, it's just really cold, but really cold hurts. So, yeah, that is just freaky that people, oh my God, right? Trying to survive in water like that is the scariest thing ever. Anyway, we're going to end on that. I thought that was pretty interesting. I love these videos. More to come for sure. I hope you are having an awesome week. I really appreciate you taking the time to tune in and watch this. And, well, hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.